Well, good day to all of our awesome following, all of our awesome leaders. We're back here. What we're going to do in this particular training is actually we're going to cover some updates from THWGlobal, about 3 quick updates. So I do want you to take time to watch this entire video. What we're doing is we're cooling you off right now. We know that a lot of you are in parts of the world where it is hot and humid. So we thought we'd go up to Canada. This is our second straight day in Canada just to kind of cool off just a little bit. Okay. All right. So we're going to be covering some very important THWGlobal updates in this training. Very important THWGlobal updates. Before we get to the updates, I want to congratulate a few of our stars. Charles Clark with 70 directs. Go on, Charles. Fantastic job for you. One of his personal referrals, Chris Ratliff. I believe he's one of your personal referrals. I hope I got that right. I know he's in your organization. Maybe he was referred by someone else, but I think Chris is referred by Charles. So congratulations to you, Chris. Congratulations to you for your leadership, Charles. Renee Alafaris, 64 personal directs. Congratulations there, Renee. Raphael, 72 directs. Raphael, you and I, we go way back, don't we, buddy? Congratulations there. And Janet Tolbert. Now we featured, I think it was in our last post, we featured Judith Rogers, and Judith at the time was, I want to say she was at about 135, 137 personal directs, and that was just, a little more than 24 hours ago. And I went back, and now Judith is over, I think she's right at about 150 personal directs. So congratulations to you, Judith. And Janet is one of her personals. So great leadership by so many of you. And as always, listen, if you've referred 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, you haven't referred 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 390, like one of our folks. Or maybe you haven't referred one person. We're never going to treat you like a second-class citizen. Now, if you haven't referred because you're not good at it, if you haven't referred because, you are in the NFL club, no friends or family left, I do want to encourage you to go on and at least connect with some loved ones. Remember, people in your household, if they're over 18, refer them, okay? Go on and get them registered, get them taking the demographic survey. This is not the focal point of this particular training, but we're going to be releasing our mobile marketing system very shortly. And you definitely want to leverage that to help you start to build your referral base. We'll talk a lot more about that in some of our subsequent trainings. Okay, so let's go to work here. We've got some, let's do some updates. The first update I wanted to do is on the numbers. I'm doing this, it is Friday afternoon. 283,611 demographic surveys have been completed. That's the number that I pay attention to when I come to the THWGlobal homepage. If we divide that by the 716,739, which you'll see over here, then this tells us about 39.5% of the folks that have registered have completed the demographic profiles. So we still have some work to do, obviously. The 283 is the real number. All right, the 283 is the real number. We are going to show where those numbers are in terms of countries, so you can get a sense of where you might be in your country or what have you. We've got 993 hours remaining until the end of the soft launch, so that gives us about 41 days. So now we're just under 6 weeks, so about that 6-week time frame. Okay, now in your back office, you want to go to your message center. This was a very important post that was posted, I think it was last night when we were on our webinar. Several of you let me know this was back here. So go in under your message center, log in, go in under your message center, make sure you fill out your survey. And you're going to be looking for a post, give me a moment, that says announcing our video platform beta testing. Okay, click on here where it says read. And so let's go through. This is the first post I wanted to go through real quickly. We're very pleased to announce that we're only a few weeks away from beginning our initial beta testing of our new video platform. We're also pleased to announce, I tell you what, let's do this so you know where I am. All right, so that was the first sentence that I just read. We're also pleased to announce that THWGlobal has licensed over 500,000 videos for your viewing pleasure, and that we'll be adding thousands more each month. Okay, so looks like some things are happening behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, please be sure to take the time to complete your survey so that the appropriate content can be procured, big word for college kick out, for you. The beta test will provide thousands of videos across the various survey categories you selected within your demographic survey. One of the things you might want to do, okay, is even if you've taken the survey, excuse me, got a little tickle in my throat here, bear with me. Even if you have taken the survey, you might want to go through that survey again. When I first took it, I was just thinking about me. I wasn't thinking about the members of my household. So I went back and retook it, and I started thinking, okay, well, what else in the survey would my wife be interested in, or my sons who are 18 or older, what would they be interested in? All right, so that, and I don't know, that what that may wind up happening is that may give you more content to view. All right, so that you get closer to your 10-hour maximum. All right, now very important, beta viewing will not be paid viewing, but this is very important. What it does is it allows them to test and help them to evaluate where we are and what they can promise to the advertisers. So what we want to do is, even though we're not going to get paid during this beta test, we want to treat it as if we are going to be paid. I mean, with the amount of seriousness as if we are going to be paid, because that's going to help us ultimately get paid. Okay. All right. So this is in your back office. This is in your back office under your message center. Take some time and go to the site that they have here with a worth of web. You know, I don't know the analytics that Worth of Web uses to determine what a site is worth, but you know, just a couple posts ago, they were saying it was worth $24 million. Now they're saying it's worth $27 million because of all of the traffic that THWGlobal is garnering. Also, I want you to come down here where it talks about, you know, the amount of money being poured into ads is just absolutely mind-boggling. This is going to go to a question or some questions that I've gotten where people ask, you know, how on earth are they going to be able to afford to pay all these people that are going to be viewing ads? Well, remember, not everybody's going to view 10 hours a week. I mean, that's just human nature, unfortunately. Okay, I want you to view your 10 hours a week. All right, but not everybody's going to view the 10 hours a week. But look at this. Mobile ads jumped over $100 billion annually in 2016. Last week, 10 companies spent over $94 million just on TV ads alone. The pizza industry spends over $1 billion annually just in the U.S. The prescription drug industry spends over $6 billion just in ads. Now, I don't know if that's just in the U.S. or not, okay? Geico and Progressive, these are two big insurance companies, spend just under $2 billion in advertising. And then come down here where it talks about the U.S., the largest ad markets in the world, led by the U.S., $180 billion of ad spend just in the U.S., $47 billion in China, and of course you can go through these particular numbers. Okay, it also goes on to talk about the fact that we're over 700,000 registered. Of course, the real number in my book is the number of people that have actually filled out their surveys. So those folks, it looks like there's been 35,000 folks that have actually referred someone. So the majority of the people that are in the system haven't referred anyone. Now, if that happens to be you, okay, again, we're never going to treat you like a second-class citizen, But if that happens to be you, and you want to earn money by viewing, even if you're not necessarily at the point where you're wanting to build a large network, well, do me a favor. Let's be a team player. Do your part. You have people that if you sent them a link, or if you call them up, or you said, hey, I'll get you registered, give me your information. You have people, now obviously you want them to take the survey, okay? You have people that just because it's you, they would do it. So if everybody just garnered 5 new folks, all right, 5 new folks, then we'd start seeing those numbers explode so that we can get closer to your viewing. Obviously, it sounds like we're getting close to some type of beta test, okay? So go through, take the time and go through this post. You should have this in your back office. All right, let's go to another announcement here. All right, now we've covered this one before, but I've gotten this question where people were asking, well, where's the money coming from? So I thought that we would share this, and then we're going to, the last one that we're going to talk about is going to be the numbers, the country breakdown. Now that country breakdown is dated. I couldn't find anything that was more recent than something that's 10 days old. So that's going to be dated, but we're going to get into that in just a few moments, okay? All right, so here's the big question. All right, how is this possible? Where does the $25 up to $25 come from, okay? And so they say the answer is very simple. Ask yourself, would a local business pay up to $150 to communicate with 100 new potential customers in their area? Okay, so that would be, let's say if it was a 1-minute commercial, that would be $1.50, all right, to put that in front of 100 folks. Okay, and of course they say, well, of course they would. All right, the same is true with larger businesses. In fact, many would pay a lot more. The same is true with businesses that want to reach 1,000 folks, or 5,000, or 25,000, so on and so forth. All right, now here's the important part. They say do the math. Even at the max of $25 an hour, okay, and not every area is going to garner the max of $25 an hour, okay? But let's use the max figures here. When you do the math on this, this is only 43 cents a minute, okay? Now, in our last webinar, we showed, in our last presentation webinar, we showed some updated numbers. Back in 2011, we had some numbers about Google pay-per-click, where there were some companies paying as much as $50 for a click for key terms, keywords dealing with legal or attorneys or insurance. And now in 2016, the biggest keyword out there, the most expensive keyword, is for I can't even say it. All right, some of you that might be in the U.S., you probably have seen a lot of commercials related to, or if you watch U.S.-based TV, even if you don't live in the U.S. I think it maybe deals with cancer or some type of cancer or what have you, and you know you can call if you or loved one has had this issue, and you might be able to be a part of a lawsuit, so on and so forth. Well, that keyword garners over $900. For that particular keyword, $900. So here we're talking 43 cents a minute, right? 43 cents a minute, okay? Even the max, now remember there's 3 payouts here, right? There's up to $25. There's the up to $25 an hour for the person that's personally viewing. Then for the referrer of that person, they're earning up to $5 an hour. Well, that comes up to 9 cents a minute. And then obviously there's the 10-level network where everyone could earn up to $1 an hour. All right, and that comes up to 17 cents. All right, so when you add the 43 cents for the person viewing, the maximum is 43 cents a minute there. Then you add the $5 for the referrer of the person doing the viewing, and then you add the 10-level compensation part, you're talking, all of that adds up to 59 cents per minute. So if they were charging a company $1.50 a minute for a commercial, and they paid out 59 cents per minute, well, do they have plenty of money left? Yes. And in fact, they say here that this even means that THWGlobal could sell a service for half the price of the $1.50. So if they sold the service for 75 cents, and they pay out 59 cents, all right, in the full compensation plan, that would still have them being profitable. Okay, and they go on to say that in fact they will offer many clients half price advertising and still pay us the full commissions. All right, so hopefully those of you that have questioned where the math comes from, that'll help you better understand the math. Remember, you've got the likes of Facebook that does about $5.2 billion in the first quarter of this year. Most of that obviously through advertising, and that's just in a 3-month time frame. You've got Twitter, who in the fourth quarter of 2015 did $641 million in revenue advertising. You've got Google that consistently does in the $17 billion range per quarter. Excuse me. All right, so this is just a huge market. Now, let me say this, okay? And then we'll go through the countries. What THWGlobal is embarking upon doing, we've not seen in our home business space. At least I don't think we've ever seen it, okay? And I've been in this industry for 20 plus years, so I don't think we've ever seen this. What we've seen in the home business space are companies that did advertising amongst primarily other marketers. And maybe they had something called an advertising revenue sharing platform. And those just have not shown that they are long-term models. As a matter of fact, one such company, and I'm certainly not relishing in this, I hate to see this happen, but one company called Traffic Monsoon, which I know some folks that were building that really hot and heavy, they just got shut down. Or it certainly looks like they've gotten shut down. I know the SEC has come in and taken a hold of some things. So I want to just share some compliance things here, some regulatory things from my vantage point, and I'm certainly not an attorney. Now, what happened with those? Well, those are systems where people were paying reps, marketers were paying for advertising packages, and then they would view ads. And by them viewing ads, that would qualify them to earn money. But essentially, what it appears with some of those systems is most of the revenue that was being generated from people, marketers, buying the advertising packages. Okay? So that becomes an issue from a regulatory standpoint. What THWGlobal is doing is not that. What THWGlobal is doing, because we're not spending any money for an advertising pack. Now, there may be the opportunity that some people could actually purchase advertising to promote whatever or what have you, but that's not the mandate that you have to make a purchase in order for you to earn. The advertising revenue sharing models, you had to make a purchase of advertising in order for you to earn. But most of those systems, especially the ones that have come under fire, came under fire because apparently there wasn't enough revenue from advertisers outside of that network, outside of people making money. And so unfortunately, Traffic Monsoon, which had operated for a couple of years, maybe even longer than that, just ran into some regulatory headwinds. Okay, so what I believe that THWGlobal is the perfect business structure from a regulatory standpoint. Why? None of us are paying anything. You're not paying anything to advertise. The fact that we might have the option to advertise, that might be available. Where's the money coming from? The money is coming from the actual advertisers. And when regulators look at that, they have to love the fact that none of us as the viewers, as the reps, are at any financial risk. They're simply doing what Facebook does, doing what YouTube does in the form of serving ads. The difference is they're willing to pay us to view the content, but we're not having to make any purchases. Right? We're not having to make any purchases. That's the key. So I wanted to share that so that if you heard Traffic Monsoon got shut down, and obviously they were in the advertising space, but it's a different part of the space. They weren't doing what THWGlobal is looking to do. And so the other thing I also want us to be mindful of is we've never really seen this in the home business industry where a company is looking to go to major advertisers outside of network marketers marketing to each other. Okay, they're looking to go to major advertisers on a global scale and put targeted eyeballs in front of their offer and pay the rep, pay the international viewer, pay the content viewer for viewing ads. And one of our folks sent in a question to support and said, hey, if someone is building out a network, in order for them to earn based on their network viewing, do they have to make a purchase? Do they have to view a certain amount? And the answer was no. The answer was no. So from a regulatory standpoint, I believe this is a perfect model. What I want to call on all of us to do is to be patient, because it's not as if this has been pioneered before. If it was a nutritional company, yeah, that's been pioneered before. That would happen much quicker. It would be a much easier road. If it was a weight loss company, that's been pioneered before. They know how that works. Nobody's ever done what THWGlobal is talking about doing. So yes, I know we all want to be viewing right now, but I want us to have some vision. I want us to have some vision, and I want us to be patient. Okay. All right. Now, real quickly, and we'll start the round third. All right. I want to just go over some of the top countries. This is 10 days old. Okay. This is 10 days old. I went back, found it in my emails, 10 days old. So 10 days ago, the U.S. was at 82,000 registered folks. Doesn't mean that everybody took their survey. So if you were to take the 39.5% figure and apply that to the United States, 39.5% roughly was the percentage of folks across the board that have completed their survey. So we take 82,073 times 0.395, 39.5%. About 32,000 folks as of 10 days ago have completed their survey. All right. And again, we were making some assumptions. We were making the assumption that 39%, 39.5% of these folks have filled out their survey. That number could be higher, could be lower. We don't know exactly what that number is. Corporate may have those numbers, but they haven't released those just yet. All right. So we've got to have at least 50,000 in a geographic area. So we're getting there, and I certainly believe that in the next 41 days that we should be there. The last time I looked at the difference between an email I gotten where it said maybe we were at 77 or 79,000, it looked like that we were seeing a growth rate of about 2,500 to 3,000 a day. All right, if that's the case, let's say if it was 2,500 a day and this is 10 days old, okay? So add another potential, don't know that this is the number, add another potential 25,000 to that. Give me a moment. Again, this is all conjecture here, all right? I've got no hard numbers on this. And if we did 39.5%, we'd be at about 42,000 folks that have actually, in the U.S., that have registered and taken a demographic survey. Again, those numbers are not numbers from corporate. I am just doing some deducing here, okay? All right, so it definitely looks like that the U.S., Russia, Philippines will probably be the first countries coming online. So I'll just go through this real quickly. Now, let me tell you what I think is going to happen. The first country that comes online, let's say it's the U.S. It could be Russia, Philippines, or I don't know how they plan on doing all of that. All right. But when the first country comes, one, I believe that once we start doing the beta testing, I think we're going to see a resurgence again. You know, we saw a huge surge right there around July 4th-ish, okay? And then July 4th came, and that's when we entered into the soft launch. And of course, we're now in the middle of summer, and so a lot of times in the middle of summer, things kind of slow down anyway, but we still have seen nice, steady growth. We saw an explosion right before July 4th. I mean, absolute explosion. Now it's been, you know, steady gains, steady gains, steady gains. I believe, this is my conjecture, I believe that once we the beta test starts, I believe some people that maybe are doing other things right now that may still be registered, they're going to start paying a little bit more attention. All right. And I think we're going to see some more uptick in growth. And then what I believe is going to happen is once the first country comes online, that then we're going to see just an absolute explosion. And so some of these numbers here, you know, if you're in Indonesia, or if you're in Brazil with 21,000, you know, Brazil, that's a big country, all right? And there's a lot of network marketing that goes on in Brazil. So, you know, this thing could just absolutely explode quickly, get to the 50,000 that they would need, so on and so forth. Now, of course, these numbers here are registrants. They're not necessarily folks that have actually filled out their demographic surveys. But I just believe that what's going to happen, and I'll scroll down, maybe you'll see a country that either you live in or maybe you've got teammates in. I just believe that there's going to be an explosion. Now, as we start to round third, I want you to have more vision than the average person. So I don't want you to wait. If you're in Argentina, I don't want you sitting just back and waiting. Okay, if you're in Ghana, my cousin married a Ghanan, and as a matter of fact, I know that they were in the U.S. for about a month, and they headed back to Ghana. So if you are, I hope I said that right, Ghanan. I hope I said that right. All right, if you're from Slovakia or what have you, plow forward, because with some of these numbers that are a little bit lower, okay, I believe these numbers are going to start exploding. If you live in these areas, you should dominate. If you live in Georgia, you live in Greece, you live in Jamaica, Lancelot, buddy, I saw you on our webinar last night. Man, just explode that thing. Explode that thing. You live in Puerto Rico, explode that thing, okay? I believe these numbers are going to explode by the mere, I mean, look, I know in my organizations, I've done very well with, in Israel. I've had large teams out of Israel. Hardly anything's happening there now. But I believe there'll be an explosion. Singapore, hardly anything's happening there now. But I believe there'll be an explosion. Panama, my dear friends Zeke and Jerry Stewart have now relocated down there. Zeke, Jerry, Panama is yours. Panama is yours. My gosh. So I want us to have, last night we had some folks on our webinar from China. You know, China is the second largest ad market in the world outside of the U.S. All right. So I want us to have some vision. Yes, it may be a little while before some of these countries come online. And so let me finish with this. This is why our mobile marketing system, and we discussed that on last night. If you were not on that webinar, then we're sending that out. We're sending the recorded webinar out. So we discussed our mobile marketing system that all on its own has its own compensation arrangement, okay, which is extremely compelling. Once you really get it, you're like, oh my gosh. And so obviously, what we're doing with that mobile marketing system is we're wrapping that around THW Global, so that by leveraging the mobile marketing system, you'll have a system to promote THW Global. That system all on its own has its own income producing element. And so if you're in one of these other countries, you know, if you're in France, if you're in the United Kingdom, and it may take a little bit longer before your country comes online, we're looking at somewhere probably around the 3rd week of August is when we're looking to launch that system. Well, you'll be able to start making money almost immediately with that particular system. And so that keeps you engaged and helps you start to build your following. You're in South Africa, okay? Get that system once it launches, and because it may take a little bit longer for our South Africans to come online with THW Global. So let's get you in a position where you're making money, leveraging our mobile marketing system, building up your THWGlobal following to help you get to the numbers where there could be viewing happening in South Africa. Okay? If you were not on our live webinar where we talked about the mobile marketing system, we're going to call it reverse advertising system, the reverse advertising system, RAS. If you did not make that, then make sure you watch the video training, the video, the recorded webinar, okay? All right, so several people asked if I would kind of go over the numbers, and so we wanted to do that for our audience. Let's keep plowing forward. Let's keep pushing forward so that we can bring those first couple, 3, 4, however many they're going to start off with, countries online, because I just believe there's going to be an explosion when that happens. With that being the case, we love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. If THW Global is gold, my gosh, we're going to make a lot of green.